I think it's a very powerful thing to go to different bars, different restaurants, and see what other people are doing. And it's not that you're copying, it's that you're seeing their creative process at work. And there are parts of it that will speak to you. Like, I know that I love a mixed cocktail. Like, I know that spirit forward cocktails are not necessarily my first instinct, but I love a well balanced cocktail. We got a nice sour that's just done right with a little twist here, a little twist there. I have been working on this menu in my head for about 2 months. Every time I could go out to a cocktail bar, I did. I have a very good friend of mine works at Dead Rabbit, and I went to see him twice. I never go downtown. Do you know how far the FIDA is? But I went not just to support him, but to see, what the best of the best are doing, and take inspiration from flavor combinations. And but part of it is also entirely self-taught. If you look inside my bag right now, you'll see my flavor Bible. I carry it with me everywhere. It's heavy, but I carry it with me everywhere because I want to keep learning about what ingredients go well together, and then maybe thinking outside the box. What can I switch up? My original bourbon cocktail for the fall, well, it was originally a bourbon cocktail. It's not going to be rye. See, when I first pictured this cranberry cucumber cocktail, I thought bourbon would be perfect. And then on a whim, I did rye, and I like it better. It balances out the cocktail, it adds a little bit of spice that builds upon the cranberry. It's just beautiful. And so for today, what we're testing out 4 different infusions, right? We're doing a charred rosemary and lemon rye, a charred rosemary rye. And I'm gonna do those both without charring the rosemary because whiskey is smoky enough. These are just on the whim because I always end up I'm smoking the rosemary as a garnish. So I wanted an element of that in the cocktail. It may not work out, but that's part of what bartending is. It's part of what creating a cocktail is. Like, there are gonna be many failures, and that's okay. I'm lucky enough that I have bosses who give me the leeway and the freedom to experiment and to have fun. This is the fun part of bartending, Refilling the ice bucket is not. It's a drink I still dream about to this day. It opened my mind up in a way that I can't possibly ever repay the people who own Leyenda. It's Ivy Mix, and I believe it was Julie Reiner. It's a female-run Pan-Latin American cocktail bar in Brooklyn, and it is the most inconveniently located place for me. But anytime I could have a day off to run out there, I would go because they had a pineapple al pastor daiquiri. It was my first exposure to fat washing, and it was just it blew my mind how she would imbue the rum with the drippings from the al pastor and make a pineapple daiquiri with it, and it was just. I still dream about it to this day, and it is a drink I hold in my mind. It's not necessarily that it has 10 different ingredients, but there's a degree of complexity, and at the same time you taste every single ingredient, and there's only 5 or 6 ingredients in it, and that's kind of what I aim for in my cocktails. I don't think I'm ever gonna be the kind of person who has 10 different spirits in a cocktail. But, you don't have to have that many ingredients to have a fucking damn good cocktail, and that's what I'm about. Now let me be. I have to do work. My favorite cocktail on our fall menu would have to be the Ish Factor.
And why is that?
Well, part of it is nostalgic. I named it after my first employee, Ish, who has been a godsend. She's a good friend, and she is hungry for knowledge. She wants to learn. She reminds me of me, a younger me, a thinner me. No, she reminds me of me, and I didn't have any particular mentor, and I'm in a position where she's looking to me for that, and so I wanted to honor her by naming my first cocktail on the menu after her. So there's the nostalgic aspect. And then there's the creative aspect of it. I had never worked with cachaça before this job. I think I'm still in the honeymoon phase with cachaça. So I'm getting to explore, and I wanted to do something fun. That's part of what the menu is. I feel like almost every drink highlights cachaça in a different way, in a fun, playful way, which is the vibe of the bar at the end of the day. We're a fun, playful neighborhood spot, you know? I want every drink to reflect that. And so for the Ish Factor, what we did is we have a citrus infused cachaça, which I use in another cocktail in our cachaça Negroni. And when I was out in San Francisco a month ago, I happened to have a cocktail. See, this is where please off at a bar where they had Chirot as an accent to the cocktail, and I thought this was such a funky spirit. I brought 2 bottles back in my suitcase. I paid extra for that, by the way. So I brought 2 bottles back, and I've been playing around with it ever since. And I thought it would be perfect in this cocktail. And what it is it's essentially a Brazilian take on a Cosmo. Instead of vodka, the star spirit is cachaça, which is still a clear spirit. It takes on flavor. So we have the citrus infused cachaça. We have the Chirot, which is an aloe mint cucumber liqueur. It adds a really lovely fresh quality to it instead of Cointreau. Then for a little bit of sweetness, we have a bell pepper simple syrup. There's a sweetness in orange and yellow bell peppers that I love, and I wanted to add that element, and we finish it off with, of course, fresh lime, because it's a Cosmo, and a little spray of orange blossom water. It is my favorite cocktail on the menu.